What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. How are you all doing? Hope you all are doing fine, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the FIFA World Cup. It's just around the corner. I mean, it's not even a week away. We are just getting there, but it is really hot. It is going to be really hot. The summer is going off India, but it is going to be staying, and it is going to be that stinging hot summer because some of the games are going to be in the afternoon. How are these? I hope and pray for the well-being of the people that are going to watch the matches, plus the players, of course, and everyone involved in the World Cup. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about my top 5 teams that I think that are going to go and get their hands on the eternal glory of the FIFA World Cup. Let's start off with the number 5th position. We have the Netherlands. Now, as I said before, there were some teams that I was a little bit confused. Now, those a special shout, not a special shout out, but special mention. England, Colombia and Japan. I do think these 3 teams would have been in place of Netherlands, and it wouldn't make much of a difference. But the reason why I have chosen Netherlands, because this is the team that have given football so much, and in the recent years, if you have looked not carefully, but if you have watched that game, they have been improved from the last year's World Cup. And mind me saying this, I almost got a heart attack last year when they almost scored that free kick, and I thought this is the time that they are going to go off on penalties, but Martinez saved us. But let's look at the squad right now. With the goalkeepers, we have Falcon, Rofos and Verbruggen, which I think is going to be starting off. Defenders, we have Nathan Ake, Van Dijk, Dumfries, Hato, John Paul Van Hecke, Van der Ven, Timber. Moving on to the midfields, we have De Jong, Gravenberch, Koopmeiners, Reindeers, Roon, Till, Timber and Weifer. Very unique names, very difficult to pronounce. I am so sorry if I'm pronouncing some of them wrong. I know I'm doing that. Moving on to the forwards, we have Robbie, we have Depoy, another great bowler, Gakpo, Kluivert, Noah Lang, Marlin, one of the I think the gem of the team is going to be Marlin. We have Somerville, and we have Vegas, the man himself, the GOAT himself. Now, one of the reasons they are into my top 5 is that if we look at their previous records, or this nation is just so beautiful when it comes to football. I mean, Johan Cruyff, of course. But if I have to be very honest, I do think that they have a very upper edge over England, over Brazil, and over Germany as well. Not only the reason is their squad, but I do think the squad that is coming off most of them are coming off the Premier League. And not that it does matter so much when it comes to nation, but if you look at from the defense, we have Van Dijk and Timber that are going to be handling the centre back pairing. I think they are going to be one of the best pairing in this World Cup when it comes to defense. On the left hand side, I mean, Van der Ven. What is this guy? He is 6'3" and he can run like a machine. His ball recovery is really well. I mean, he is one of the fastest. Should I say center? He mostly plays on the left hand side for Netherlands. Now, many people think that he plays only center back, but no. For the Netherlands, he can play that left back position since he has that pace to cover things up. And again, 6'3" and so quick. But on the right hand side, now one of the names that is a big name that is missing out, that is Frimpong. But I think due to some fitness concerns, he is not into the squad. So Denzel Dumfries is going to be the newly appointed Real Madrid player. Galactico. Perez is moving mad, by the way. I am seeing the news, but I don't want to get too much into club news right now. I'm in the World Cup mood, so let's move forward. Now, talking about the midfield, we have some maestros, some really good midfielders that are going to be controlling that midfield for the Netherlands. I think De Jong and Gravenberch are going to be starting off in that double pivot for the Netherlands, and up top in that cam position, I think Reindeers is the one that we have seen taking up that attacking position. But I think he has the ability and the capability to come back and be that box to box centre mid as well. So they can keep changing up where Frankie de Jong is the one handling the cam position if he has to come back. Moving on to the forwards. Now, I do really appreciate and admire Memphis Depay since he has played for Barcelona. I know a little bit about him. He is a real bowler, but I think he is coming off a thigh injury, so I do not really know if he is fully fit. I mean, in the coming days, his fitness this does concern, but I think he should be available and packed and ready to go since he is back and recovered from the injury. On the left hand side, I think Cody Gakpo will be the one playing. We also have Kluivert, but I think Kluivert plays like an inside forward, so he's a really good cam. But I think Gakpo is the one will be taking up the left hand side. I think up top, I think if it's not Depay, I think Robbie is a great physical striker as a target man. Now up top, if Memphis Depay is the one struggling with fitness or cannot recover with, I think he is recovered time, but I think the rust needs to get off. But I think Robbie will be a really good substitution for him. He's a really physical guy, a physical striker which can play target man. But as we said, on the left hand side is Gakpo. On the right hand side we have Marlon, one of, as I said before, one of the many gems this nation has. Marlon has had a really good season in the Serie A. I think he is will be one of the pinnacle players to look out for, and the player that mostly will cause havoc in the attack. Another player that I really want to talk about is Somerville. Now I know West Ham has been relegated, but I think the clubs will be looking out for Somerville once the transfer window opens, and I think he too will be moving on because he wants that Premier League time. And again, the GOAT himself, because I think this is that player that in case you need an extra time goal or you're lacking a goal behind, just put him up and just keep crossing. Such a tall player, he can head the ball, he can be that target man, and he can produce something out of nothing in that entire box. Now I have made good use of my the writing board. We have gotten some things that we need to take care of: injuries and fitness, and players that have missed out. We'll take a look at that. As I said, Depay have recovered from a thigh injury. He's ready to go. Timber had groin injury. I think he had returned just before squad has announced. But Timber was such an important part of Arsenal defense. And I think another player is Julian Kluivert. I think he had a knee surgery, but everything is good to go. He has returned, and I think during the friendlies he is going to be playing. The players that have missed out, one of them being one of my favorites, Xavi Simons. He has an ACL injury. Really sad to see that the players getting injured and not being able to be for their nation. And Xavi Simons happened to be that person that is I rate him so highly. Another player, I think Matthijs de Ligt. Again, if Matthijs de Ligt would have been in this squad, I think it would have been such a great squad where de Ligt and Van Dijk would have been in center. Timber would have moved on the right hand side instead of Dumfries. But again, great squad, and one of the many experienced players that we are missing out on is De Vrij. He also has a thigh injury, and he will be out in this World Cup. So a little bit of experience here and there, but this is a great squad, and this is why they are on to the top 5. Now many people will say this nation should be at the number 1 position, and I wouldn't argue with them. I do believe that this is a team that should be going and winning the World Cup, but this is at a number 4 position, and I will tell you all why. Do not be angry with me, please. But coming up at number 4, we have the great squad of Portugal. Now I know many of you all will say, what are you even talking about? These are the favorites to, one of the many favorites to win. I mean, they are at top 4. There are some teams that I think that are much better than them. Just listen to me. Let's look at their squad for now. At the keeper's position, I was a little bit shocked or a little bit confused when I saw them, but they are going with 4 goalkeepers into the World Cup: Diego Costa, Jose Sa, Silva, and Weho. Moving on to the defenders, we have Diego Dalot, Nunes. We have the GOAT himself, Nelson Semedo. Oh my god. We have Cancelo, Nuno Mendes, Inacio, Viega, Diaz, and Araujo. Moving on to the midfielders, one of the best in this entire FIFA World Cup, if not the best: Ruben Neves, Costa, João Neves, Vitinha, Bruno Fernandes, and Bernardo Silva. What a midfield. Talking about the attack, we have João Felix, Trincao, Conceição, Neto, Rafael Leao, Guedes, Gonzalo Ramos, and the main man himself, the GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo. Now let me start off by saying this, why they are at the number 4 position instead of number 2 or number 1. Their defense. I think their defense is one of the weaker side in their team. I think their midfield is the best. I rate their midfield the best in this FIFA World Cup. Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, and Neves, 3 of the best midfielders in the world right now. There's no doubt in that. But talking about their defense, and why do I think defense will be a little bit of a problem? Because on the right hand side, on the left hand side, you do have one of the best, Nuno Mendes, and Cancelo. Cancelo is coming off with a great season with Barcelona. He is in excellent form. Again, the best left back, I would say, Nuno Mensch. There's no doubt this guy can go up ahead and contribute in goals. But when it comes to defense, we have, I think, Ruben Diaz and Inacio that are going to be taking out that centre back pairing. The only reason I'm saying that defense looks a little bit shaky is because the management has failed to get that click into that defense. I see there is a little bit of lacking in chemistry. That is why I'm saying that defense can be a problem, and when you don't have defense, World Cup is such a tricky thing that just because of some miss and match over here, you can just concede goals, and even one goal in the World Cup can cost you a lot of things. Again, now moving on to the midfield, I don't know what to say. I literally don't know what to say. If this does not come into the top 2 or top 1 midfield for you in this FIFA World Cup, just in general, just like how I said, midfield is going to be the pinnacle of the team that is going to be helping them win in the World Cup. I do think that the forward line is a little bit tricky. Not Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm talking about other than Cristiano Ronaldo. The only thing stopping them from the scoring goals is that they might not have that much of chemistry within them, other than Cristiano Ronaldo and Joao Felix that have been playing the entire season with Al Nassr, and I think they have been absolutely fantastic for their club. But I do think that Rafael Leao or Trincao, Conceição, I don't know who is going to be taking on that right hand side, but I think if I have to put them in a lineup, I think Cristiano will be handling leading that forward line. I don't think there's anyone better than him right now in the striker position for Portugal. I think Gonzalo Ramos or Guedes are good. I would say not average, but Gonzalo Ramos has had a very average season, and I do think if he has to come in place of Ronaldo, just in case things are not working out, I think he will do the job. But I do think Ronaldo needs to be at his top form for Portugal this time, and I hope he gets into that knockout and break his deadlock and breaks the curse for the knockout goals. Now, when I was making my note for the Portugal's injuries, fitness and missed out players, I've written not as such. They have literally saved themselves from any injuries or players that have been missed out. Do I think that some players? No, I don't think myself. Also, there are some players that need to be put in place of something others. But the only thing is that why are you all taking 4 goalkeepers? For what? Alright, moving on to the third position, we have France. And let me be honest, they are going to win the World Cup. They are going to win the World Cup. These are my favorites. Starting off with the goalkeepers, we have Mainan, Samba and Riser. Moving on to the defenders, we have Luca Denier, Gusto, both the brothers Hernandez, Konate, Kunde, Saliba, Upamecano and Lacroix. Moving on to the midfielders, as you all can see, there is a big smile on my face because we have N'Golo Kante, we have Kone, Rabiot, Tchouameni and Emery. Looking at the forward line, this is where everything just goes haywire, and this is why I think they are going to win. I don't even need to mention the forward. Look at yourself. This is literally players that can be divided into 4 teams or 3 teams, and they can go ahead and win the World Cup, then have a competition among that. Why don't you all do that? Talking about that camp position, I think Griezmann did a wonderful job. And he was one of the best in that position, but I do think that Ryan Cherki is going to be playing in the center, but I think most of them can play center. Olise will be handling the right hand side, but I think he can come in the center as well. Doué too can play on the right hand side, can come in the center, can go on the left hand side. Ousmane Dembele forward, right, center, left, Barcola on the left hand side. Olise is the one that is going to be one of the main players for their squad. I know the Kylian Mbappe is there. I don't even need to speak about him, the general himself. But as I said before, I have nothing negative to say about this squad. I mean, they are the ones that are going to lift the World Cup. I don't have anything to say. Now here comes the team that I think that have a chance over France and has a chance that they can go ahead and win the World Cup with a very young squad. That is coming at number 2. We have Spain. Now this is where it gets interesting. Starting off with the goalkeepers, Unai Simon, David Raya and Juan Garcia. 3 of the best goalkeepers right now Juan Gracia having the beautiful season with Barcelona. David Raya, one of the best keepers right now, have helped Arsenal to win the Premier League and almost the Champions League. But I think Unai Simon is the favorite to start off. Looking at the defenders, we have Cucurella, Grimaldo, Cubarsí, Laporte, Pubil, Eric Garcia, Marcus Llorente and Pedro Porro. Moving on to the midfield, we have the best midfielder in the world, Pedri, Fabian Ruiz, Zubimendi, Gavi, Rodri, Alex Baena and Mikel Merino. Looking at the forward line, let me just take a moment and pronounce it right. Oyarzabal, not Oyarzabal. Oyarzabal. Then we have Dani Olmo, Nico Williams, Jeremy Pino, Ferran Torres, Borja Iglesias, Victor Munoz and the great man himself, Lamine the Dream Yamal. Now the reason that I put them on the second spot, because I think this is one of the teams that is so well gelled together. They have been playing for so long and there are many players. I've just realized there are no Real Madrid players. But we'll get to that in a bit. Let's talk about the squad right now. I think Unai Simon is the one that is going to be starting off ahead of Raya and Gracia, because he is one of those players that have been playing under I literally forgot the coach's name. Luis de la Fonte. I think Unai Simon has been playing under Luis de la Fonte from a very long time, I think, and he's one of those players that, you know, De La Fuente trusts a lot, and I think that is why Simon. But he does perform for the Spain as well. He has been a little bit shaky in quite a few of the tournaments that he's been playing for Spain. But I do think if I have to go with it, I would have gone with David Raya ahead of Simon. But Juan Gracia is also there just in case he needs to, you know, go ahead and look for. This is just so amazing. Three of the best keepers, Cubarsí and I think Pubil are the ones that are going to start. But I do think he is going to start off with Aymeric Laporte with Cubarsí, because I think Laporte brings that experience that you need. But I do believe that Cubarsí and Pubil are much mature to, you know, take that responsibility to take that leadership. And one of my favorite players, Eric Garcia, I think one of the most improved, one of the most versatile players. Can play on the right, can play center, can play into that CDM position just in case if you know just in case Rodri does not perform that well. But moving on to the midfield again, Pedri, Rodri, Pedri, Rodri, Pedri. If Rodri has fully recovered from the time of his, you know, that major injury that he had, and if he is at his finest form for this World Cup, I don't think anyone can stop Spain from winning the World Cup. And I think Pedri alongside with him, and I think Fabian Ruiz is going to be taking on it's going to be partnered with them. I think Rodri as a CDM, and then Pedri and Fabian Ruiz on the right and Pedri on the left. I think this midfield is magical. Now talking about the forward line, this is a team that does not have out and out striker, but has a very experienced player that can take charge of scoring a lot of goals, and that is Oyarzabal. In the recent tournaments you all have seen, he has been he has been exceptional for Spain, and I think he is the one who is going to be responsible for making sure that if anything happens. But other than that, I think another player that I do think that will be very good into the striker position, I think Merino. He does play midfield, but I think he is very good in the forward line as well. Though this team does not have like that main number 9, I think it is so cool to, you know, just know that they have players that can score goals from anyway from the midfield as well. Talking about the wingers, now this is where it gets tricky. Lamine Yamal and both Nico Williams are coming off with huge injuries. Now Lamine Yamal was substituted towards the end of the season with, I think, which was a known hamstring injury. But I think Nico Williams and both Lamine Yamal should be available, and I think they can only get better with as matches go on. But they need to be very careful to not exert their players and to make subs on point and make sure that they get enough rest to recover from the injury. And the reason why they are at the number 2 position is solely because they play as a team. They play one of the most beautiful football. Spain happens to have that cultural football and so on. but this team, it is gel well. They have been playing for so long. The fitness is the only concern that Spain has regarding their forwards and many others, but other than that, this is a well put team. This is a gel team that works really good and plays one of the most beautiful footballs out there, and that is why they are onto the number 2 positioning. The only player that I think that could have been a cherry on the top for Spain, and that is Fermin Lopez. Unfortunately, he got injured at the end of the season, but what an amazing season he has had with Barcelona, and I think the future is very bright for Spain. And at number 1, we have the defending champions Argentina. Now let me just say that there is no doubt, I think that they can go ahead and win it back to back. Starting with the goalkeepers, we have Dibu Martinez, we have Musso, and we have Rulli. Handling the defense, we have Velarde, Otamendi, Tagliafico, Montiel, Licha Martinez, Romero, Medina, and Molina. Looking at the midfielders, we have Paredes, De Paul, Barco, Lo Celso, Palacios, McAllister, and Enzo Fernandez. And finishing off with the forwards, we have Alvarez, Messi, Gonzalez, Almada, Simeone, Nico Paz, and Lautaro Martinez. This is the team, the best team in the world right now. They have been on top for many years, ever since they have won that Copa America, the World Cup, the Copa America again, and they're going to win this World Cup too. And the reason why I'm backing them to go back to back is not because of Messi, not because of Alvarez or Enzo or anyone particular, but this team is a family. This team fights for one another. This team fights for one particular person, that is Lionel Messi, but also knowing that this is one family all together. They have something that most of the teams do not, and I see them lacking, not Argentina, the other teams, and that is that they do not have an ego that is more bigger than the other person or lesser than the other person. That is one of the main reasons I say that Argentina are going to go ahead and win the second one back to back, and Messi again is going to be that pinnacle one that is going to make a difference in the squad. Now there are some players missing out from the squad. I think one of the main players is Senesi. I do not know why Scaloni has not taken him, but I think the reason he's gone for Otamendi or someone like Velarde over him is to give that experience into that squad. Since Otamendi is almost 40 now, I do think he has a lot to offer to the national team, but Senesi would have been such a great addition to the squad. But nonetheless, I truly trust and completely trust Scaloni. It's like my own nation. We may see a new partnership in the defense when it comes to centre backs. I think Otamendi is going to be sitting out, and I think Licha and Romero are going to be starting off. On to the left hand side, I think Tagliafico is going to be starting, but there is a player that I have seen recently, and I do think that he can play that centre back and the left back position, and that is Facundo Medina. And I think this is the reason why Scaloni left out Senesi, is to bring in players like Medina and then keep Otamendi, as I said, for the experience. But on the right hand side, I think Molina he's had a good season with Atletico as well. I mean, they have gone trophyless, but if we talk about single players, I think Molina in recent times, he have really improved in his position, and I think he'll be really pinnacle on that right hand side once again for them. Talking about the midfield, I think we will see a very similar midfield other than De Paul's fitness, because again he's gone to Inter Miami, but the not worrying about his performance or his contribution to the national team. I think he is a horse that keeps on running. He keeps on running for Messi on that right hand side. So I do think Enzo Fernandez, McAllister, and De Paul will start. Just in case they do not start De Paul, I think they are going to start with Paredes, because I think Paredes has had that impact. As I said before, we are going to get to see a very similar lineup from the previous tournaments or the previous years that we have seen Argentina play. But I think Enzo Fernandez, McAllister, and De Paul are going to be the ones starting off. Just in case De Paul is not at his best, I think Paredes is the one going to take over that position. But Paredes is as good as De Paul as well when it comes to putting on that pressure and handling that right hand side, because you need to cover up that area where Messi is going to be controlling. But we do also have Lo Celso. I don't know why Lo Celso has been called up. I think I would have preferred Bundia. He's had a really good season and he would have made a really good difference for them. But nonetheless, trust Scaloni. Moving on to the forward line, I think this is one of the best forward line I think we will be seeing in this FIFA World Cup. Of course, there's Messi, but Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez and Nico Paz. What are these names? What are these players? Absolute finest in their position, but finest in this season as well. They've had an excellent season. I mean, Messi is going to perform how he wants to perform. Julian Alvarez, I think he's not had that of a great of a season with Atletico, but he was the difference maker in that team. Talking about Lautaro, he's had a great season with Inter as well. And then talking about one of the players that I think that can be, as similar to the contribution of Messi, I think that is Nico Paz. I think this boy is amazing, and he is a fantastic player, and I think he will be playing the camp position, and I think he can go ahead and ease off a little bit pressure from Messi as well, and give Messi that power, or give Messi that space to just go the ham on the defense. I mean, Messi is Messi. Why am I even talking about him? As I mentioned before, this team is a team. This team is a family, and they are going to be playing for one another. They are going to be playing for Messi, but more so ever, I think they are going to be playing of free mind. That burden of carrying their nation and winning that World Cup last time, I think they will have that empty mind, that not the burden on their shoulders anymore, that they have to go and do something for their nation to prove something. But I think that is the one of the main reasons that I think they will be not only playing like defending champions. As Scaloni said in an interview, we are not going to win it back, we are going to defend it. And I think the players, the management, and everyone in that whole squad, and having Messi in your team gives you that advantage over everyone else. Even at this age, his performance has absolutely been great for Inter Miami. And what can I say about him but other than just appreciate and be just grateful to watch him bless the football field, be as gracious as he is. And yeah, this is going to be his last World Cup with Messi. I know the last time he said it's going to be his last World Cup, but here he is, and I think he is going to be even better for some reason. I have that feeling. But that would be, ladies and gentlemen, that was my top 5 nation that could go ahead and put their hands on the eternal glory, had the FIFA World Cup to their name. Let me know down in the comments below if this video comes across to you. Who do you think are going to win the World Cup? And let me know one of your dark horses that think that can go ahead and disrupt these people's joy of getting the hand on the FIFA World Cup, and who can come out victorious. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care and peace out.